What is up, everybody? Welcome back to 9 to 5 Gamers, and today we are getting into my top 100. It's getting towards the end of the year, so I wanted to drop my top 100 for everybody. I've been working on this for a little bit of time now. Had this hurricane come through, Hurricane Milton came through and hit Florida, so during that time I was able to kind of try to go through my top 100. It actually took me a couple of days because I just could not, I needed to make sure that my list was accurate. But anyways, these are my favorite 100 games of all time. And if a game you like is not on this list, please put it in the comments section because I want to be able to play it. So let me know in the comment section what games you think should be on this list. But without further ado, let's get into the top 100. Number 100, just barely missing out on the last place right here, is Mysterium. Mysterium is getting ready to probably drop off the list. All it's going to take is a really good game to just kind of boot it back. But I really like Mysterium. Mysterium is a lot like Dixit, but you get this whole setup, and you got one player who plays as the ghost player, and they are giving these vision cards, which are like Dixit style cards, and you're trying to give people clues as to who their perpetrators are, because everybody has their own set of perpetrator, location, and weapon of choice. And then after that, they have to figure out who the one is that did it out of all the ones everybody has found. So it's a pretty interesting game. I really like the way that it functions with that one player as kind of like the ghost giving out the visions. I think that for some people that have played Dixit, I think with Dixit everybody gets a chance to kind of play that role, and it goes by super quick. So I think a lot of people prefer Dixit over Mysterium. But Mysterium is really cool if you want that spooky vibe, and it is October, so why not, right? But Mysterium is a really cool game. You should definitely give it a try when you guys get a chance. My number 99 is a game called Just One. Just One is honestly one of the greatest party games of all time. It is a game where everybody is sitting around the table, got about 7 people, and there's one person who has to guess a word that everybody else at the table knows, and everybody has to write a clue for that word on their little marker board thing that they have, and all at the same time, while the other person's eyes are closed, they're going to show their words to each other, and any words that match up, you have to eliminate them and erase those boards. So a person who would normally receive about 7 clues to try to figure out what the word is will sometimes only get 1 clue or 2 clues, because sometimes they just get eliminated, or sometimes people working with only 3 clues. It's actually a really fun game, and I love that it plays with about 7 people, which is awesome. It's a great player count, and if you put people in pairs, sometimes you can make it even more than that. But it's a really fun game, and if just about anybody can play it, that's the reason why it's still on my list. I think the last time I did this list, I had a lot of party games on my list, because those are the types of games that a lot of the people in my player group like to play. They like a lot of those simple party games that are really fun, but a lot of those are phasing out now, and so this list is going to have a few of them, but not a ton. My number 98, another really fast, easy to play game called Love Letter. I love this game because it is just so easy to play. The way that people play the game is that you have a card in your hand. On your turn, you draw a second card, and then you play one of those 2 cards. Each card has an ability that has the potential to let you look at somebody's cards, or maybe knock somebody out of the round if you can guess which card they have in their hand. And it's just kind of like this fun elimination game, and whoever is left standing wins the game. Or if you have the princess card, which is the highest valued card, they've printed all sorts of versions of this, and just as a heads up, there's going to be games that have different iterations. For example, Love Letter has the Jabba's Palace, the Marvel. I just lumped them all together with Love Letter. So whichever one is your favorite, awesome. They have a Bridgerton one that just came out, so it's pretty interesting. But Love Letter is just simple, fun, fast, plays with 6, and you can't go wrong at the price. It's like $15 or less, I think. A really good card game, very fun, and I love taking this game out. People love playing it. Next game on my list, number 97, is Carcassonne. Carcassonne is I wouldn't say the original tile layer, because I'm really not 100% sure, but it is definitely a evergreen classic. This is a game that everybody kind of goes to. It's kind of like Lords of Waterdeep, which is like this classic Euro that everybody kind of loves and knows. Carcassonne is the tile layer that I think most people are familiar with, and it's a really fun game. You are just laying out these little tiles, and you're grouping together certain things like castles and different things like that, and when you do, you can use your little pawns to claim roads or castles and things like that, and you get points for them, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins, and you're just laying these tiles out, but everybody's laying their tiles onto the same open board, and so everybody's changing the trajectory of the paths and the length of these buildings, and sometimes these fortresses that you were going to close off and claim, somebody else is, puts a piece that expands it and makes it bigger. So it's a really fun game. I really like Carcassonne. Very simple, very easy to play. It's not super long either. Doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just Carcassonne. It's super good. And again, there are a lot of iterations, a lot of expansions. There's Mists over Carcassonne, which is like the cooperative version of it. Very difficult game, but it was fun. Me and my wife enjoyed playing that one as well. But that is Carcassonne. My number 96 is, a lot of these games were more fast, easy to play games. This one's a little bit more complicated, and that is Vagrant Song. Vagrant Song I haven't really played a lot, and I think that's the reason why it's sunk so low on my list, although it is one of my favorite like spooky games, because you are, basically the premise of the game is that there's this train, and on this train are a bunch of like ghosts, and you're trying to restore their humanity, so you fight these different ghosts. It's like a boss battler, but it looks like Cuphead style, like artwork. Kind of reminds me a little bit of, there's another one that's like a Townsfolk Tussle, but this one's it's really cool because it's like a little lane battler, and you're just on this train, and there's like a story to it and a big scenario book, and then you get upgrades and different things for your characters. All the characters are unique and different from one another, and you get power-ups and stuff. It's really, really fun, and I like the mechanics and the systems that they use for battling and for moving, and you got these little chips and different things. It's a really cool game. I actually really enjoy Vagrant Song, but it doesn't make it to the table as often as it should, so it's sunk a little lower on my list, but it's still a great game that I would love to play at any time, probably around October, just when it's like spooky season. Next game on my list, my number 95, is a game called The Loop. The Loop is one of those games that you look at and say, I don't think I want to play this. The artwork is kind of wacky. It's not the most attractive or appealing game. It kind of looks weird when you first see it, but the mechanic of the game is very, very interesting. It is a deck builder, but there's like this time machine that what is his name? Fozilla, or whatever his name is. What is his name? Dr. something. Anyway, Dr. Foe or something like that. But he is basically going back in time and disrupting like history, and so you're going around in this time machine trying to stop him from doing that by playing cards to complete like different tiles. And so like there's like, the board is almost like a circle, and then as you go, he starts to throw damage markers out, and it starts to destroy the machine. And so it's probably I'm not 100% sure exactly what the game is, like how to describe it. It's so interesting, but it's definitely a deck builder for sure, and it's very fun. I've had a lot of fun playing this game. I love the different characters that you can play as with their different powers, and then you can like loop. The reason it's called The Loop is because you can like loop back and repeat like actions if you have these little green cubes and different things like that, and you interact with the board differently with each character, and then you get upgraded cards that go into your deck, and it's just a fun deck builder. And it's one of those games that's like, I find it hard to explain what it really is, but it's very fun. Definitely a game you should check out and give a try. Number 94 is a game called Calico. This is a really fun puzzle. You have this big quilt, and you're taking little patterns and little tiles, and you're placing them into this quilt thing that you have. And as you're doing this, you're getting cats and different things and putting them onto your board to score the most points, and whoever has the most points wins. Believe that's the way that it worked, or whoever can like finish their board or whatever. I totally forgot because I haven't played this game in a minute, but I really like this game. Calico is very fun. There's a lot of games where it's like tile and pattern making and stuff like that. This one just happens to be really, really good, but it's very thinky. It's deceptively thinky. So I would say that if you're not a person who likes to really puzzle things out, this is a game that might be a little tough for you, but I don't think it's too hard or too difficult. But it's definitely a very thinky game, very brain burny, very AP inducing. You're just kind of like, oh man, so what do I do? Because if I do that, and I got to put this here, and I'm trying to meet this goal, and it's really fun though. I really like Calico, great game. And my number 93 is Ready, Set, Bet. This is a horse racing game where you could play with up to 9 people. I think one person is playing as the horse racer. They have the dice and they're throwing it. We get to play this at conventions. It's really fun, but you're basically just betting on different horses. But the horses that are racing there's a person who's controlling them, and what they're doing is each horse has a number. They're rolling dice, and the dice match up with the horse numbers, and then they move those horses forward. If a number gets called twice, the horse will go forward an extra couple of spaces. And so it's just really crazy because you can't really predict which horse is going to go the furthest, the fastest. Sometimes it ends up being a horse that's you would think is called the least amount, but it ends up being the one that gets called the most. And it's just fun because people are placing their little tokens on the betting spots so they can bet on different horses and things like that. And whoever has like the most money at the end of the game wins. It's super fun. It goes by relatively quick. It's not a super long game, but man, if you get the right person to control the horses and they're just yelling and screaming and shouting and just having a good time, man, you really got to get into it, man. You can't play this with a group of people that are just like quiet. It's very group dependent. Like, you need people to be excited and lively, because otherwise it's just not as fun. But I like Ready, Set, Bet. It's a really fun horse racing game, and it's a game everybody should try. Number 92, and the reason why this one's 92 is just I have not even gotten the chance to get to it. I've played a couple of scenarios with it, but it's a game called Agamonia. Agamonia is like this box that I think I kickstarted this back in like 2020 or 2021, and I just got it now in like 2024, maybe early this year, or like late last year. But I had been waiting for this game for like 3 years. I had totally forgotten about it at a certain point, and then I got an update saying, oh yeah, this game's coming in. I was like, forgot that it was. But once I got it to the house and I opened it up, I was like, yo, the components, the app that it uses, and all the stuff that this game came with is top notch, beautiful. Agamonia is definitely like a Gloomhaven-esque type game. It's a dungeon crawler, but scenario driven, and you've got these map boards, and you're playing as a specific character, but that character has like this big board where you hold like these different tiles that like slide into place and lock in. It's very nice, man. The components are super good quality, and it's got like heavy cardboard for like everything, but then they've got like the deluxe version that came with like the metal coins and stuff like that. So it's really good dungeon crawler. The characters are very unique, very interesting, very cool backstories for each of the characters that you can read through and kind of understand your character and where they came from. And I really like this game, man. I just need to get it to the table more. I have too many campaign games that I need to play, and this just happens to be on my list of games that I need to play. So that's Agamonia, number 92. And my number 91, last one for this list, is going to be Catan. I just love Catan, man. Catan is awesome. It is that class. It's one of those evergreen classics that, for me, I just never get tired of it. I'm glad that I made the top 100 because I really wanted it to be on there. I really did. I was rooting for it. But as I was doing these comparisons, I was like, I would rather play this. I would rather play that. I'm just seeing Catan go further down the list, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, I hope it makes it. And sure enough, it did. It made it up to the 91 spot. And that's because there's so many, like, Catan has been around for so long. It's been around since the 90s. It's had tons of expansions. People played it in competitions, things like that. But it got to a point where, like, a lot of the hardcore gamers were starting to see it like Monopoly, where it's like, ew, you like Monopoly? Oh my gosh, ew, you like Catan? And I just, that bothered me because, like, I've been playing board games, maybe not as long as most have. I'm relatively new to the board gaming scene, but Catan is still a favorite of mine, even though I've been playing it for a long time and I've had it for a long time. I will not get rid of it. Like, if I pulled my copy of Catan out, it is tattered, like it's falling apart in pieces. I've let people borrow it. I've taken it so many times to so many different places. It's just such a classic game, and if everybody should know what Catan is, but if you don't, it's just basically like a little area control game where you are building little settlements on certain areas that are numbered, and you're rolling dice, and every time your number where you have a settlement is called, that land will produce whatever goods it might be. It might be wood, it might be hay, it might be bricks, it might be sheep, it might be, what was the other one? I forgot. But yeah, it might be one of those resources, and then you're taking those resources and you are using those, and stone, and you are using those resources to build more settlements. That's how you build settlements in the first place. And build different cities, and each settlement's worth a point. Every city is worth 2 points, and you're just trying to get to 10 points. Whoever gets to 10 points wins. For some reason, games that have whoever gets to 10 first are great games, like Moonrakers, Catan, Dune Imperia. Like, I can think of a couple more, but like, there's so many games that they just go up to 10. I think it goes up to 10, and it's like, but getting to those 10 points is the fun of it. And then you're building little roads and expanding your settlements and things like that. It's just a fun game. Really, really good game. Classic. I love it. Love playing it with people. Love playing it with new people who've never played board games, because it's like their first love. They love those games, and some of the other ones that have probably made my list, but I'm not going to call them out by name. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you made it this far, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, and I'd love for you to be a part of that, man. You guys are my bread and butter. You are the reason why this channel has succeeded as much as it has, and I call that a success, man. 11K subs is where I'm at right now, and to me, that's a success. The fact that that 1,000 people would even want to listen to anything that I have to say is just makes me feel great, because that's a lot of people. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. If you want to support the channel financially, which I know a lot of people have been asking about that, become a member of the channel. I also have a Patreon out there. As far as like making content, I am a part-time content creator, so I struggle really to make a lot of content. I'm usually making like maybe 1 or 2 videos a week, and that is a lot for me because I have a very demanding job, and so it's very hard for me to do both at the same time. But at the same time, I try to get it done because I just enjoy doing it. But the other thing I wanted to say is that if you do want to support the channel, I know I have like memberships and things like that. I try to put out some exclusive stuff there, like I used to post like pictures and stuff. But support the channel just because you believe in it. It could be even $1 a month is super helpful. If multiple people give $1 a month, man, it'll take this channel to the next level, and maybe they'll get some money and we could do some really cool stuff. I host a lot of board gaming events where I give out like snacks and drinks, and I cover the costs myself. And so if I have, you know, the money from the channel coming in, I can utilize this money to help continue to put out board gaming events to get more people into the hobby and just to show people great games. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and in the comment section let me know some of your favorite games. Anyways, love you guys. Have a good night. Peace.